That's the muff. That's the muff. This has gone left and into the jungle where the elephants are going to die.
Hello guys and welcome back to the Fifth Major Podcast episode 3. Today we're going to be debating who is going to be the golfer of the next decade. With us today we've got Joshua Martin.
Hey Alex, thanks for having me on.
Peter Walker.
How you doing? You alright?
Josh Wright.
Hi guys.
And debutant Rory Murphy.
Hello boys, great to be here. Thank you for the invite.
No worries, mate. Big shout out to Andrew Fogg. He can't make it today. He's on the front line working at Tesco. So guys, I'm going to give you 3 picks for golfer of the next decade and we'll just jump right into it. First up, Rory Murphy. Who's your first pick?
One second, I'm just going to get you boys on the big screen.
Tell you what, whilst
We can edit that out.
No, I've got you.
ready? We're ready to go?
We're ready to go, right?
We're ready to go. Rory Murphy, who is your first pick?
Golfer of the last decade.
No, the next decade.
The next decade.
Go.
So the 2011 US Open champion, 2012 PGA champion, 2014 Open champion, and 2014 PGA champion. He needs no introduction, Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
So why Rory McIlroy? He's got an MBE. I think probably the biggest part, which we can debate, possibly the only player ever to win golfer of the decade and also be the underachiever of the decade in the last decade. He's also just a good lad. You don't hear about the caddy anymore. You don't hear about the girls anymore. You don't hear about the equipment anymore. And he's going to be golfer of the decade, boys.
That is a very fair argument, I'd say that. What base have you got in being a good lad?
I like the way he shut down the idea for the Premier League golf, I have to say.
Yeah.
I've also heard some good stories about
What do you reckon he's like?
him going on the piss when he was with Caroline Wozniacki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon like low key. I've heard he gets out to Dubai a bit, Miami back in the day, and
Yeah.
I think he's a good icon in the sport. Maybe not the new Tiger, but
What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon he was golfer of the last decade? Just whilst we're on it.
maybe.
I definitely. I think he was golf of the last decade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistently won 4 majors, which at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
And underachiever of the decade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He could have won,
Yeah.
he could have won way more.
That's for another video.
He was definitely the most talented player around.
Yeah.
Is there question marks, because we see it time over time and time again on the PGA Tour, of him not finishing tournaments which he's seeming in command of?
Maybe. But if you put yourself in that position week in, week out, then you're not going to win them all.
Unless you're Tiger.
Yeah, unless you're
Unless
Tiger.
Tiger. He was a bit of a freak. He definitely does. I think he does have a little bit of an issue with Sunday, but I mean, he still won. You think he won 18 PGA Tour events last decade?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's still pretty
At the
good.
same time, he gets a lot of flack for getting these backdoor top 5s, backdoor top 10s. Like at some stage, he's gonna put them together, and when he does, he wins tournaments by like 10 anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But he hasn't won a major in 5 years?
Yeah, he's won the Canadian Open though.
Well, but this is maybe
and the Honda.
But this may be an argument that someone else might put forward later in their player, that maybe their player does have what it takes for a major title. But anyway, we'll get onto that. I'll quickly move on to my pick. My pick is Jon Rahm. So, as you know, Jon Rahm hasn't won a major, despite all I said about Rory McIlroy, but he, in 2019, won DP World Tour Championship, his own Open, the Spanish Open, and also Rory McIlroy's title, the Irish Open. So far in 2020, all top 10s other than the Genesis Invitational as you know, John Rahm is like number 2 in the world now, definitely trending in the right direction. And that's sort of why I went for him as my pick. Also in the majors, like I think we said in previous videos, definitely looking like he's probably going to convert those good finishes in the majors into a win. Came tied 3rd in last year's US Open. Like can move the ball both ways, big hitter, great short game, like he's got a complete game. And that's why I reckon he's right up there for me. Also, Ben Hogan Award winner, which is something another player of mine who I'm going to choose later has also won. Another thing, don't take this as the truth, but I heard Dustin Johnson ruled out of the Masters a couple of years ago for a sore ankle, I think it was.
Didn't he fall down the stairs?
He did fall downstairs. I've got it from a bit of inside knowledge that John Rahm pushed him down the stairs.
Can I come in on that? I heard Dustin Johnson was shagging Smiley Kaufman's girlfriend, and Smiley was chasing him downstairs.
Well, I've heard
Smiley in the Masters
that it was Dustin Johnson who was chasing John Rahm's girlfriend, so John Rahm pushed him down the stairs.
I didn't know Smiley ever played in the Masters.
I swear the last time he made a cut, he was like in the final.
Smiley was in the final group on the Sunday, the Masters.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh,
Was he?
Yeah.
Has anyone got Smiley Kaufman in their players, just to make sure?
No.
I don't think he's going to be very good this decade. I think he's going to have a poor decade.
I don't think this decade's for him, unfortunately. But never mind.
He's already hit his prime, I think.
Yeah.
He had his couple of weeks. That's it.
Also, final note on John Rahm. As you guys know, I'm a big supporter of players who are good up here. And John Rahm finished 4th for his bounce back ability for 2019. That is a stat I take very seriously. And I think he is often lauded as this very emotional player, but he's obviously learning how to keep that under wraps, coming 4th in bounce back ability for 2019 on the PGA Tour. Anything else to say on John Rahm for any of you guys?
I think he is a reincarnation of Sergio Garcia, personally.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe a little bit better.
I think he's gonna be
Better
better.
putter for sure. But
Hit it a little further.
hits it a little further. But fair, when Sergio came out, no one hit it as far as they do now either. So yeah, I think he's going to win a lot of tour events on 25 under as he does now, and then he'll fade into a Sergio Garcia.
I can't see John Rahm not winning a Masters.
Yeah,
I think Rahm's way better
than
than
an
Gus.
Open. I think John Rahm will win a Masters and an Open.
I think
I'm gonna put it out
Sergio
there.
did win the Masters.
Yeah,
So I'm putting him aside.
He's also got about 8 top 5s in the Open as well.
Yeah, I think Rahm's got the potential to win like 6 to 8 majors.
yeah, I think so. I think he's gonna win the most of any Spaniard.
I think he's already won
R.I.P.
9 times as a pro or something, and he's been pro like 3 years.
But I think Josh, if you look at like Sergio Garcia when he just came on the scene, like very similar numbers, very similar temperament.
Rahm is undoubtedly he's a far better putter though, isn't he?
That is the thing. Even everything about his putting just looks good.
He just stands over it, takes a look, and just pulls the trigger, doesn't he? I think Rahm mentally, I agree with Major as well. Mentally, I think he's incredible. Just so competitive.
Only 25 as well. Like this is going to be the next 10 years. He's coming into his prime perfectly.
Just the way he beat Tiger Woods in Paris as well in 2018. Like his celebration on the 17th green was so good. I back him to be a multiple major winner next decade for sure.
I liked the intensity behind his celebration when he beat Tiger, but I wasn't really impressed with his arm movement.
His arm movement. You can't talk about that, Pete.
He's got like stamping his feet like an angry teenager. I thought he was like panache.
You'd hate for John Rahm to go into the Ryder Cup curse category of golfers who excel solely in the Ryder Cup, though, wouldn't you?
Go on, name a few.
Ian Poulter.
Yeah, you go.
Paul McGinley.
Oh, they are Fargy's favourites, and he's not here to back them up.
I was going to say,
Oh.
right, man.
I love McGinley. Four-time winner on the European Tour.
How many
Huge
times?
career. Huge career.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Josh Martin, who is your first pick for golf for the next decade?
I have Justin Thomas. I think we've all seen his development over the past 4 to 5 years. He's currently number 4 in the world. 2016, 2017 was his big breakout year where he saw him win 5 times on tour, including that 2017 PGA Championship. He became the 4th golfer ever to win 5 times, including 1 major. Can you guys name the other 3?
T-Dub.
I think
Say that
yeah,
again.
T-Dub.
What was the question?
He became the 4th player to win 5 times on the PGA Tour, 1 being a major in 1 season.
Jason
There's-
Day, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth,
Not
Tiger
Jason
Woods.
Day.
Tiger Woods.
Jordan
Johnson?
Spieth, yes.
Tiger Woods.
Yep, Tiger Woods.
Already
Phil.
said.
Dustin Johnson.
Nah, DJ's never won 5 times in a year. I don't think.
And Jack Nicklaus is last. So
Did they,
I think
did they
he's
have
in-
That's actually quite big. That's a big
That's quite the
yeah,
record. Quite the year.
yeah, I think that's pretty good company that he's in. Yeah, he won FedEx Cup 2017 as well, and I think he followed it up with the second the following year. So yeah, he's done a lot of great things, and he has a lot of really special moments. I think we can all think about that win at the PGA, but then also the 63 at the U.S. Open
Yeah.
earlier that year. That
59
final
at
shot on
70.
Saturday. Yep, 59 at the Sony Open to begin that season. He went in to win that tournament by 7 shots, shooting like 59, 65, 65, 64. Just I don't know. It's pretty amazing when this guy gets on a roll. It's
He hit one of the
it's pretty
greatest shots
special.
I've seen. Do you remember in Mexico when he was on the 18th
Yeah.
hole, hold a wedge shot,
hmm
and he was
Yep.
behind Nicholson and hold one to lead by 2. That was one of the best shots I've ever seen.
Did he hold it? I thought he held it to get into the playoff.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
was tied
He
with
went up
Mickelson
to-
and then hold it to go to a head, and then Mickelson birdied 2 holes to get in the playoff.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah. He shot 62, 64 on the weekend there.
That's pretty
And
handy.
unfortunately, he didn't close it out, but just really impressive. And then last year we saw what he did at Medina, 25 under the BMW Championship.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. He has a complete game really. He's finished top 5 in strokes gained, tee to green the last 4 years on tour. Only thing that can sometimes hold him back is the putting, but when he's clicking with the putter, it's tough to beat. So I think once he starts to get more consistent with that club, we'll really see him break out. And
You think there's
hopefully
any
win
risk
some more
of-
majors?
J Mart, do you think there's any risk of him falling into the final day doldrums? That's all I was Mexico this year. Finished off with a 75, hit it all over the map.
You chose Rory McIlroy. Rory.
Mhm. I think that's just going to happen. He's an aggressive player. He doesn't really ever back down. Like he has a lot of confidence in himself, and even when he's not clicking, he's gonna go for it. So I think you see that with some of the greats who just have so much confidence in their self that they're gonna go for it all the time. And I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out, but I think if it works out for you half the time, then it's gonna be pretty good.
I don't know if you guys watched the Century Tournament Champions this year, where it went to the playoff, but he had that in his hands and then he hooked a 3-wood into the big grass, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think he made up and down or something to stay in it, and then did it again, and then fought Patrick Reed in the playoff and Xander Schauffele. Somehow came on top, but they were all trying to lose that. But yeah, I think you're right there. He's definitely got the mentality to win and win a lot of tournaments. You reckon he'll be, Josh, well, obviously you think he's going to be best golfer, but would you say he's by far and wide going to be the best American?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has. I mean, he's a little younger than Brooks, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he just has like a better mentality about the game.
Yeah.
Like Brooks is just, I don't know. It's been interesting to see how he's changed, like since he's started winning all these majors, and how he like talks about not liking golf and stuff like that. I think that could come back to bite him someday.
Yeah.
I think Justin, like even he's a team player. His Ryder Cup and President's Cup combined records 10, 3, and 2. So I think that just shows like he loves to play the game. He's a team player and he's always trying to get better. So
Yeah.
Josh,
I
have you
personally,
played on the same team as him?
yeah, we played in a junior team competition together. That was probably over a decade ago. But
How'd you get on?
yeah, we actually ended up winning that tournament.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Just,
so
leave that story out.
What was the tournament?
it was called the World Youth Team Challenge. I think we might have played the first year that they did it, and we had a lot of great players on the team. It was myself and Sam Horsfield were playing together as partners, even though he's England. He's from England, but he was living in the States, so I guess they allowed him to represent USA. And then I had like Grayson Murray, who's on tour, Justin Thomas, my brother, and a few other good juniors at the time. So had a solid team.
Right. Who's up next? Josh Wright. Who's your first pick player of the next decade?
Okay, so I've got DJ as my player of the next decade. So I'll just read you through a few stats of his. So first became number 1 in February 2017, and he was there for 64 consecutive weeks, and that's the 5th longest streak anybody's ever had at number 1. So that just shows he can dominate. He's obviously got 1 major, US Open, but also you need to take into account some of the events that have happened in other majors where he potentially could have won. Now, you could put that down to him bottling it, but also if you look at some of them, like the PGA Championship 2010, he went into the last hole needing a par to win, ended up hitting it into one of these sandy areas, and he grounded his club, and he got a rules infraction and ended up making a triple bogey, which was just a little bit of an experience. I don't think that had anything to do with what kind of golfer he was, but he could have had that major quite easily. Also, 2017, he was dead cert to win the Masters. I mean, if he plays that week, he wins. He'd just come off, I think the last 2 events he played, he just won 2 WGCs. And then, I mean, we don't really know what happened. I mean, whether he was chasing after John Rahm's wife or whatever, but he fell down the stairs and couldn't play, and he was obviously going to win that week. US Open 2015, he 3-putted the 18th green to lose by 1 to Spieth. I mean, if he holds that 8-foot putt, he's got another major.
Those Chambers greens, he's got something to play there as well.
I mean, some pure greens, man.
They were like putting on broccoli, wasn't it? So I mean, you can't really
cauliflower, I believe they said.
Cauliflower, broccoli, yeah. So I mean, listing these, he could have quite easily have had 4 or 5 majors. Also, 2011 Open, he came very close. Ended up losing out to Darren Clarke, and this is I've named pretty much every major here. His game travels big time. If you look at his stats in the majors, he's played the Masters 9 times, 4 top 10s. The PGA 10 times, 5 top 10s. US Open 12 times, 5 top 10s. The Open 11 times, 3 top 10s. So he's got over 3 top 10s in every single major. Like this guy's game goes all around the world. Also, he's in form. Well, he's in form right up to last year. He came second in the Masters last year, second in the PGA. The worry is he's 35 years of age. So if you add another 10 years to that, that's 45.
Is the body going to last?
That may be a little bit too old. But yeah,
is his navel cavity going to hold up? Because
I've heard some insider knowledge that Paulina's got a tight hold right now.
That is another thing. Yeah.
Well, apparently, when he took that time off, like however many years ago, apparently it was Wayne Gretzky that took him off. Like,
I think he got tested positive for cocaine, but it was just after he started seeing Paulina. So I don't know whether she had anything to do with it.
Enjoying his
I've heard Wayne Gretzky's kicked him around the room with a stick before. I don't know if that's obviously.
These are rumours.
Well,
These are
you
rumours.
filled up into a ball and let him push him around.
Yeah, and just Wayne whacking him with the hockey stick. So that would keep me off the white for sure.
Anyway, listen to this for a stat for DJ. From the US Open win, which was in June 2016, in the next 3/4 years, he won 11 times on the PGA Tour. So in less than 3 years, he won over 11 times, and these were big wins. We're not talking about winning some,
Puerto Rico
John Deere Classic.
Valspar.
Mate, the Valspar is huge.
The Valspar is decent, but this guy's been winning WGCs. He's the only player in the history of the game to win every single WGC. Not even Tiger Woods has done that.
Is that a compliment?
That is huge. The WGCs are these are the events that the best in the world play. He's won 6 of them, and every single one, again telling you that his game travels. He's got 20 wins overall on the PGA Tour, which is about as many as any current player other than Mickelson and Woods. He's also got 4 FedEx Cup playoff wins. So of his 20 wins, you've got 1 major, 6 WGCs, and 4 playoff events.
Could I come in on DJ and put a question to you, Josh?
Yeah, of course.
So I love DJ. He's given Northern Ireland 2 majors. Gave Graham McDowell his at Pebble, and he gave Darren Clark his at the Open as well.
Yeah.
But the big stat, and we're looking at golfer of the decade, and DJ's like coming towards the end of his prime years, really. How come he's won 1 major, mate? How can you back a player with 1 major?
Well, as I said, I think you say he's coming to the end of his prime years. I would argue he's coming right into his prime in the next 5 years.
He's got him right where he wants.
2 majors.
I've listed the majors he could have won. Like, these were a little bit of inexperience, a little bit.
Could have been the highlighted.
Yeah, of that sentence.
He could have had 4 majors already. I know he's only got 1, but I mean, sometimes it just doesn't happen for you. Greg Norman, one of the best players in the world, only had 2. Also, we all know he's a massive hitter, and the next decade, I don't think short hitters are gonna come into the equation too much.
They talked. Nick Faldo talked about it recently. Like, no one's like you go on about big hitters these days. No one's a short hitter anymore. You don't get that much out of it, really.
Yeah, I think at the end of last year, of the world's top 10, I think 9 out of the 10 were outside the top 100 in driving accuracy. So I mean, that just shows like driving accuracy means absolutely nothing. It's just bomb it and gouge it out the wedge. So obviously that plays into DJ's hands. Yeah, that's another reason. He also pounds when he wins big. His last 4 wins have been by a margin of 8 shots, 6 shots, 3 shots, and 5 shots. He beat Rahm by 8 shots in the Hyundai Tournament of Champions. He beat McIlroy in Mexico last year by 5 shots. Like, once he gets on top, he dominates. Yeah. Also, final point I'll make is I reckon he was the bloke that ended Spieth's career. It was back in August of 2017. Spieth was just off his 3rd major championship win, and Spieth was in great form. Probably the best player in the world, best player of his generation, and he came up against DJ in a playoff, and DJ completely took a different line off the playoff hole.
Oh, is this Riviera? Is it?
This was Glen Abbey or Glen Oaks, I think it was.
I've seen the PGA Tour love it on the Insta. Yeah,
so Spieth goes first and blasts it just down the fairway, right. And DJ just takes it straight over the water 80 yards left. Yeah. Spieth knocked it and then wedged it to about 80 yards. Wedged an 80-yarder straight 2 feet below the hole, tapped it in for birdie, and that was the end of Spieth's career. Spieth has not won since that. From being, the talent of the generation, we've never seen the same guy since. So yeah, that's all I've got for you.
Very valid points. Yeah. Peter Walker, who's your first pick?
I'm gonna go Brooks Koepka. Obviously, 4 major titles. First player ever to hold 2 back-to-back majors at the same time. Recently in majors, he's had 12 top 10s. And he's held the record for the lowest 36 and 54 hole lead in the PGA Championship. 7 strokes in 2019. He's got the lowest 36 hole total across all majors, 128 under in 2019. He was the world number 1 for 38 weeks. And when he won at Bethpage Black, he'd won half of the last 8 majors he'd entered. And also gets great trims from Jenna Sims. So we can respect. And
he's also really good at hitting an 8-iron left-handed.
Yeah. 29 mile an hour club head speed, which you love to see. And also taking great photo shoots on boats. It's called Fashion Bro.
Yeah, he loves his boats, doesn't he?
In his Armani vest or whatever it was.
Have you seen? He did a collab with was it Off-White? He did like those golf shoes with the tag on them.
Oh yeah,
Those
it's called
were-
fashion, bro.
Can't say I was. I don't know how Off-White felt about being used like that, but I can't say I was a fan anyway.
Yeah,
Pete, what have you got to say to what we've said earlier about is his love good for the game or lack of it going to stand him in good stead?
yeah, why not? I mean, I think he likes money and winning more than anything else, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably more than golf. And he just kind of gets on. I think it's almost good in a way that he doesn't really care about golf because it just means he feels less pressure. Like you've seen in clutch moments in like majors, he's like, obviously been quoted to say like majors are easier to win than the non-majors because, 80% of the field are going to get overawed by the occasion, not play good golf. There's going to be like 10 or 13 guys are going to show up and play good golf. So actually, it's the smallest field to win. So
Padraig Harrington used to say that easiest ones to win.
Yeah, so having that approach, like if you can just get over the basic nerve of playing in a major, it's pretty crazy attitude to take, and obviously shows to work for him.
Can you have the golf of next decade though only being bothered about 4 events a year?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he's showed enough. Like he won WGC, I think.
Yeah,
he plays good enough to win pick up a few events each year, for just showing up and ticking his money over and treating Jenna to a new holiday.
Josh Wright as well. Tiger's been rocking the 8 to 10 events a year, scheduled for a long time.
And if you look at the main basis for what we're basing who's going to be the player of the decade or last decade, next decade, it's all about majors.
Yeah. Amen.
At the end of the day, who do we talk about for the best golfers of all time? Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. Why? Because they have the most majors.
Sam Snead.
You don't talk about Colin Montgomery as the best player ever. He could have been if he'd have won the bucket of chances of he had at majors. But
yeah, I hear you. It would be quite nice though if he was he could muster up the encouragement to bring his best 15 weeks of the year. That would be quite nice.
Yeah.
I think it is interesting to compare DJ's PGA Tour to major ratio and then Brooks's, because out of the 20 that DJ's won, he's only won 1 major, and I think Brooks has won 4 majors and maybe 2 other PGA Tour events.
Yeah, that's exactly what you've got to look at. Who's had the better career out of those 2?
Brooks.
I would say surely, I think you'd all agree, I remember more Brooks wins than DJ wins.
Yeah. And surely, you'd think DJ would trade in all that time at PGA Tour wins for 3 more majors.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm at world number 1.
I'm not sure. I mean, golf. I know majors are the pinnacle of the game, but these other events in the other 48 weeks of the year have to count.
If they make the WGC Mexico a major, DJ is sorted.
Yeah.
Right.
If you ask, I think obviously just like Colin Montgomery's a perfect example. Like won the European like Order of Merit like
Yeah, but
8 years on a row.
That's
Like-
European Tour, and with the greatest respect to the European Tour, it's not the same as WGCs and the PJ Tour.
All right, then we'll go Luke Donald, like world number one. Money earning leader in PGA Tour.
And
Yeah.
European Tour same year.
He's dominated the RBC heritage for a long time.
He's never won it.
Is he not?
No, he's come second like 5 times. I think.
Fair enough.
Currently 369 in the world.
Yeah, 369 in the world now. He'd trade it all for a major win. So would Lee Westwood. Like,
Yeah.
it's all guys that are like just going to be known as like second best. Like Sergio is known as like one of the best players ever to not win a major.
He's also known as a dickhead.
And a twat, yeah. But other than that,
Great TikTok, so.
I enjoyed it. I know.
I wasn't sure
I-
about the
I was a
start.
bit
but then
painful.
I sent it to a few other mates of mine, and they sort of. I watched it again. And
It took me a few watches. I didn't realise the baby was born between the first.
Yeah, I was really confused by that. I saw it, I was like, what is going on here?
Right, lads. Let's move on to the second pick. Rory Murphy, you go first.
So I didn't realise, first of all, that this was players in the top 100 outside of the top 5. So I've got a PhD in players outside the world top 100 right now. I can tell you an awful lot. But this player, so golfer of the next decade. So pedigree first. 2010 PGA champion. 2004 US Open champion by 8 shots. 3 PGA Tour wins, 11 European Tour wins, 1 Sunshine Tour win. He can do it all over the world. 2007 Henry Cotton Rookie of the Year. Trending in the right direction with T10 in Oman, T13 in Saudi, T16 in Dubai, and T8 in Abu Dhabi. Martin Keimer, ladies and gentlemen. Because, yeah, he's, as I said, trending in the right direction. We talked about the big changes he made for the Masters. Since those changes, his best result at the Masters, T17 in 2017. It speaks really well. I know Josh Wright, you think he's...
I do love the way he speaks. I really do like him in interviews.
And I think as well, like, he's just got... Like, there's only so many players with 2 majors and that many wins around the globe. And there's also only so many players who can win majors by 8 shots. And I think, he's still young, keeps himself very well, still got it mentally. I think if he can get the rub of the green, he said his pitching and putting has been letting him down over the last 10 years, or last 5 years anyway. I think if he can get either of those back, like, I certainly think he'll win another major. Like, it won't take much for him to kind of do that. And also personally for me, I remember I went up to Irish Open, Royal County Down, and it was Rory, him, and Ricky Fowler playing together. I was like, fucking hell, can't wait to see Rory just launch it around. Can't wait to see Ricky Fowler's stingers. And Martin Keimer hit it so much better than the both of them that day. Literally schooled them. And that sticks out in my mind.
That is an interesting.
How old is he?
That's a good question. I think he's 34.
My guess would be 34, yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
That'd be my
35.
guess.
35.
35. Oh, I
He
was
makes
gonna guess
great trick shot things at home as well.
And I don't know if any of you seen he did the European Tour Club Challenge thing.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a really nice guy, a really good fella. Like,
Really nice guy.
I think someone I would go for a pint with for sure.
Yeah. Which is key when you're deciding the golf.
Also, someone I'd like to throw into the mix. Someone that was really catching my eye outside the top 100. Josh Martin, someone you may know. 151 in the world, made the cut in the last 4 majors. Has won on tour. One of Jeff Smith's boys, Aaron Wise.
Yeah.
The thing is, he is not trending. Missed 7 of the last 10 cuts.
He was really, really good a couple of years ago. Didn't he win PGA Tour Rookie of the Year?
Sorry?
Didn't he win PGA Tour Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago?
I don't think so. I think he won last year,
Did he win last year? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think because I follow Jeff Smith on Instagram since day one. And I just think he swings it so good, hits it so far, hits it so well.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rory, you only get
I
one
don't-
pick in this round. So mine.
I don't know who Jeff Smith is, but yeah.
He's just one of the big coaches. He's like the Gankus of the
Okay.
East Coast Gankus, I think.
Yeah. When I played in the Western Am in 2015, and I think he shot it was on this incredibly difficult course, Rich Harvest Farms. And he shot an incredible 8 under 64 the second round. Meanwhile I was shooting 80 or something. I was like, dang, dude, that was such a good round. And yeah, I think he lost in the finals that year to Dawson Armstrong. So
But yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
he-
Between him and Keimer, I'm still going Keimer, but I thought I'd throw him in.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Kind of
Good shout.
instant shout.
Yeah.
My pick, I went for a guy probably certainly closer to the top 5 in the world than Martin Keimer, and that is a guy who is definitely trending at the moment, Patrick Cantlay.
I had a horrible feeling you were going to say Reed there.
No, Patrick Reed. Does anyone know Patrick Reed?
He would have been right outside the top 5.
Right. Yeah, Patrick Cantlay. So 2019 Memorial winner. I mean, only the best win that.
That's true.
So far in 2020, he's come 4th in the Century Tournament of Champions. Major finishes for last year: 2 top 10s, Masters T9, USPGA T3. Made all cuts in the majors, so he's definitely not afraid of that. Notable stats. So the big one for me, as I mentioned previously with John Rahm, is bounce back ability. And Patrick Cantlay ranked 1 for 2019 bounce back ability. He's definitely got it. He's got his game, I think, is complete. Around the greens, he's brilliant. 8th overall for putting last year. What else have I got? Yeah, just great temperament. Really likes the way he goes back as well. I think there was an interview as well. He's not scared to play in any conditions. The PGA Tour guys were moaning about, I can't remember what tournament it was, about the wind, and he had a massive go. And he's like, these college fucks, they don't know what it's like.
I love that.
So I really like that. That stood with me, and I've watched him play a lot. I watched him play President's Cup as well. Really likes temperament, and I think he's a star for the future. Can definitely win some majors. Yeah.
Major. Can I say? Obviously, love the bounce back stats thing.
Yeah, do we have a stat that says that means
By far the
anything?
most important
But can we say for him to make a birdie after a bogey, he has to have made a
Well,
bogey.
everyone makes bogeys. Even the best make bogeys.
He's got to
Everyone
make
makes
plenty of
bogeys.
bogeys.
Apart
to make birdies.
from anyone who's played Thomas Browell in the last year, they haven't made bogeys. But other than that, everyone makes bogeys. And you've got, for me, up there, you've seen in the majors, how many times do players face adversity in majors, and how you bounce back from that, I think, is so key. And my first 2 picks have definitely got that. I mean, they've shown that in their young careers. Both my 2 guys so far, really young. I think they've got the game. Look, Patrick Cantlay 3rd in scrambling, 2nd strokes gains total for 29 PGA Tour. I think he's got the game. I think he's got the temperament. Yeah, he's my 2nd pick.
If I could come in, what do you think of his slow play? Just personally, obviously, I find it very hard to.
I think he's fed up a little bit, though, I think.
You can now just
Quite a
suck
Bryson's
cigar
level.
around.
He's just getting his head in check, I think.
Yeah, I also Major this bounce back ability thing. What do we have? Players that lead that every year, do they rack up a few wins? I'd love to know.
I
what
did
that
know
means.
you won the Memorial last year, and that was a key factor.
Oh, sorry, that was another thing I wanted to come in on. We talk about the Memorial. Who do you think came 3rd in last year's Memorial?
Keimer.
Keimer.
There you have it. Martin Keimer's better.
Yeah, I think it was something. I think he had 30% bounce back. So when
That's
he
pretty
dropped
good.
shots, he made birdies in 30% of the next holes. And Rahm was 27. So there's one.
That means he's 70% over par.
No, I don't officially how the stat works, but I know it's something you hear.
Sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. It's something you hear Nick Fowler go on a lot.
I think it's the funnest. It's the funnest word to say. It's definitely the funnest stat.
Bounce
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. It's
Last night took
definitely
an
one.
L, but tonight I bounced back.
Everyone hits, like you said earlier, everyone hits it far these days, but not everyone makes birdies after bogeys. And for me, like, that's just it.
I think when I return to the think tank for next week, I'm going to do some big digging on what bounce back ability means for PGA Tour wins.
Yeah.
Okay, second pick, Joshua Martin.
Yeah. Just to reiterate what you said, I think bounce back percentage is pretty important. Or we started keeping that stat at my university, and it was like pretty fun. No, back in the States.
Plan those out.
No, we were keeping stats about that at University of North Carolina, and it was kind of interesting just to see how people's like mindset and attitude affected their bounce back percentage.
What was your bounce back?
I like that
percentage?
stat.
You like in the 40s or something?
No, it's actually pretty hard to. 40s would be like.
I guess you don't make
incredible. I think like what Patrick Cantlay was leading with like a 30% or something.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty hard to.
Yeah.
Is it the percentage of birdies you make after bogeys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely
bogeys
pars
or more.
I think surely pars after bogeys would be a better stat.
It would be higher, wouldn't it?
Nah.
30%.
Yeah, it would be like 85%.
Yeah. I think it's birdies.
I get about 20%.
Yeah, it's birdies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. Who's your pick?
So my second pick is Colin Morikawa.
Bargie's favorite.
Big up.
Yeah. I know a few guys are pushing for him to make the U.S. Ryder Cup squad this year. I'm not sure if he's quite ready for that, but I do think he's going to be. What's that?
Okay, go check the episode 2.
Yeah, I think. Just like he's already 40. He's 44 in the world after being on tour for less than a year. I saw some highlights from the Barracuda Challenge that he won last year. He birdied the last 3 holes to win that. He also has a 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 10th, and has yet to miss a cut on tour out of 21 starts. So
it's pretty good.
Pretty crazy stuff. His junior and senior year, he actually was in the running for like Player of the Year, like the Ben Hogan, Fred Haskins, a lot of different awards, but he was a finalist for all those. Unfortunately, he got beat out by like great years by Norman Zhang and Matt Wolff his senior year. But he played incredible. He only finished outside the top 7 one time his senior year. And that was the tie for 14th at regionals, and 7 of those were inside the top 3. So this man's like Mr. Consistent, 4-time All-American. 3 of those were on the first team. Just like crazy stuff. Finished outside the top 20 3 times in his entire 4-year college career. He just seems like he has it all. If you watch interviews with him, temperament and attitude towards the game seem to be very good. I saw in an article where they interviewed Matt Wolff, Victor Hovland, and Morikawa, and they all agreed that Colin was the most mature out of the 3. Even I found that interesting, even for Matt and Victor to be admitting that. But he just is very composed. His drive, he's not the longest driver. He's like pretty average, which is still pretty far, like 300 yards. I think he'll continue to probably hit it further as he grows and gets older. But I think the biggest asset to his game is his approach to the green. He's been 4th in strokes gained approach to the green this year on tour, and just seeing some of the iron shots he's hit over the years has been pretty remarkable. And just keep in mind he's done like all of this in less than a year on tour, like probably like 10 months. So I think he's gonna keep growing, getting better, and once he gets more opportunities, we're gonna start to see him compete for major championships in the years to come.
Definitely, I think
I'll give it that.
Not missing a cut so far is one that gets bandied about quite a lot. And yeah, it's some great facts there. I'm sad that Fargy's not here to back him up, but
Yeah.
Like that is so impressive that he's not missed a cut. I mean, like you could just hit one wayward drive and you get stuck in some awful lie and make a quad
Hmm.
and miss the cut by a couple. Like for that not to happen in 80 rounds of golf or whatever, is pretty incredible, isn't it?
yeah.
Hmm. And we talked about even like Jordan Spieth during his major run, he was still like he was missing like quite a few cuts on tour.
Yeah.
Even though he was like winning majors, just because I don't know, I guess he just wasn't as consistent. But this guy keeps it up. I think it's gonna be pretty special.
J-Mod, did you say, I can't remember if you mentioned it, he's had the most eagles on tour this year?
I didn't know that. I didn't say that or know that.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Does he?
It's either like 12 or 16 eagles or something.
Really?
But yeah, he's
Okay.
he's leading the tour most in 20.
I think one of the big things, J-Mart, you were saying like Matt Wolff and Victor Hovland talk about how mature he is. When you listen to him, did like a no laying up like a couple of weeks ago. Like it's like talking to someone or like listening to someone who's been on tour for like 10 years.
Like a veteran, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think
he's
that
got
is important.
His girlfriend's like competitive golfer as well. I think he's just like really in the
Green.
really on the golf vibe, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's cool, and I think it's important to success, especially as a youngin out there on tour, to be mature because I mean, when you're making money,
Yeah.
I mean, you just have like a lot of different things that can pull you away from or
Shout out to
distract
Anthony
you from
Kim.
the game. Anthony Kim, you know. But yeah, I think he's got everything sorted out in his life, and I think it's going to be pretty cool to watch him.
Yeah. Who's our next? Josh Wright. Who's your second pick?
Right. Okay. So I've gone for a guy called Sungjae Im. I'm sure you've probably heard of him before.
Yeah.
Currently 23rd in the world rankings. Now, I think it's quite a good comparison between him and then there seems to be these three college stars that have come from America that are Morikawa that Josh has just been on about, Hovland and Wolf. Now, Im, I don't know about you, but I don't think he gets talked about like halfway enough. He's over a year younger than Morikawa, 6 months younger than Hovland. And if you compare their careers up to this point, I think Im has by far got the best resume. So like compared to Morikawa Hovland, he cut his teeth in the professional game. I think he turned pro at the age of 16. He spent 3 years on the Japanese and Korean tour, had some success, but not massive. I mean, he's only like a teenager at this point. And this is compared to Morikawa and these guys who are just pampered in the US college tour, in the US college, doing all these events, like going on all the best tour buses. They've got everything they need. Sungjae Im in 2017 turned up to the web.com Q school, still as a teenager, came over to America and ended up finishing second in the Q school. Now, if you think of the pressure that these guys are under in these Q schools, to finish second, coming straight over from Korea, is pretty impressive. He shot a 60 in the third round. Like, I mean, that is incredible.
Pretty good.
So he gets onto the web.com tour, having played no collegiate golf or whatever. He's got no idea what these courses are like compared to these college stars who are playing a lot of these courses in their youth. This guy's played none of these before, so he's onto the web.com. First event he wins, and the web.com is not like a.
And it's called the Corn Ferry Tour.
Now, yeah. So I mean, these are some very good players on this tour. And first event, he just goes up, wins. He then, in his rookie year on the Corn Ferry, he has 3 second place finishes and another first, and becomes the Corn Ferry Player of the Year. So this guy is still only 20 years old, by the way. He's come straight over from Korea. And he's done this, which is incredible. So he gets his PGA Tour card, So his projection is still like flying upwards. He gets his PGA Tour card, and in his rookie year, he plays literally every week of the year. Every week, pretty much, barring some like.
Lives in hotels, doesn't he?
Pardon?
Lives in hotels, I've heard.
Yeah, lives in hotels. Like he's not living a pampered lifestyle. He's just cutting his teeth. He's going out there playing these courses he's never played. So first year on tour, he has 16 top 25 finishes. He has 7 top 10 finishes. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. And he wins PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, makes it to Eastlake. So he gets the FedEx Cup final, and he finishes 19th in the FedEx Cup, all in his first year on courses that he's never seen before, completely by himself. A guy that's come over from Korea as a 20-year-old, I think is absolutely unbelievable. And if you compare that to what Morikawa and Hovland have done, and Wolf, although I completely agree they're unbelievable players, if you look at the path that Im has taken and what he's achieved in his time, I think it's far better than what these other guys have achieved, and he gets absolutely no press for it at all, so to speak. He's 23rd in the world. I just think it's incredible. He then in his second year, so this is coming into autumn of 2019, so very recently, he lost in a playoff to Sebastian Munoz. So he could have won a PGA Tour event there, but never mind. He's straight off to the President's Cup. So, I mean, the President's Cup is pretty big. This is like, last week we were talking about Hovland and Morikawa potentially making the Ryder Cup team. Well, this guy has actually made the international team. Like, this isn't talking about theoretical things. This might happen. Sung Jae Im actually made their team, and he played 5 times that week at a very, very tough golf course at Royal Melbourne. 5 times he played every single game. He won 3, drew 1, and lost 1. He beat Cantlay and Schauffele, and I know last week we were talking about how good Schauffele and Cantlay were as a pair. Im beat these guys twice, almost single-handedly in the 4-ball. Now, Cantlay and Schauffele, I mean, I agree, they're unbelievable players. Both of them played 5 games that week, and they all won. They both won 3 of the 5 games, and the 2 games they lost to was against Im in the 4-ball. Im's partners were Hadwin, who was playing absolutely atrociously, and I think the other one was Abraham Answer, who did have a good week, to be fair. But
let's not give him any credit.
I mean, I just think he was unbelievable that week. I thought he was, other than
Fly the flag, baby.
other than Tiger Woods, I think he was the best player that week. And as a 21-year-old to play 5 games in that kind of event was just incredible. And
How long is this presentation on Im?
I love this guy.
Has anyone ever said he should be a lawyer?
I know.
Oh, can I come in on Sung Jae Im?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think you're making a big deal out of the kind of cutting his teeth on tour, like to come over from Korea and to have the funds to go and play 2 years on the Corn Ferry. He's not.
No.
This is not a Slumdog Millionaire.
But I'm just saying, it's
Take away
like
from
you can't deny that America is a certain type of golf, and these college kids have grown up and they're bred to succeid on the PGA Tour. Like Im.
R.I.P. Josh Martin.
Im's come across
that or transfer to England,
and he's killed everybody.
I think as well another not very talked about stat on tour is non-English speaking players do not have long tour wins.
Yeah.
And he translates for him as well.
Yeah.
What was his recent win? Was it?
Well, yeah. This is the final thing I was going to say. So he comes straight back from President's Cup. I think he did have a little break over Christmas, which was pretty unusual.
I doubt it.
And then, so he wins.
Cut his teeth enough yet.
There's no time for that.
Yeah,
He's practicing.
He won the Honda Classic in March, I think, first week of March. I think it was like the second event before we stopped. And I don't know if you can remember, but I think it's played at the PGA National, and he birdied holes 15 and 17, which are unbelievably tough.
Did he win the Honda?
The bear trap.
Yeah, so he goes around the bear trap and birdies 15 and 17.
Ooh, that's nice.
Which is unbelievably clutch, and ends up winning by a shot. And And then after that, in classic St James style, there's no celebrations at all. He goes and plays the Arnold Palmer the week after and comes third, solo third.
I say
So
just
his
to
last two finishes are first and third. Now I reckon he's going to dominate the PGA Tour, and he would have had a Tiger Woods 2000 year where he wins like 10 times. If coronavirus didn't happen, he's going on a mad one this summer, and he's winning everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to back you up, Josh Wright, as well. The three boys that everyone talks about, Morikawa, Wolf, and Hovland, like they're all ranked lower than in the world, as you said. But the events they've won are like either on the Camp Champ swing, the Chris Kirk swing, or the Barracuda, and you know, like the Honda.
This guy literally he plays every event, so he's obviously going to play the tough events as well. And the harder
like to win the Honda, like who wins the Honda? Like
exactly,
big players win the Honda.
He won it at 6 over par. I mean, this was no pushover, of course. It was extremely tough.
Those lines he took on 15,
6 over or
well,
6 under?
like,
6 under, sorry. Did I say 6 over? Yeah, 6 under.
Who was it that was talking about like the lines he took on 15, 17, like whoever he was paired with?
It was Mackenzie Hughes, yeah.
Yeah, and said like, oh my god, the size of this
He
guy.
was like, how ballsy is that?
Like, Jesus Christ, they were obscene. Like landed it the right side of the pin on the par 3.
Yeah.
He also makes loads of hole-in-ones.
Yeah, he holds out a number. Yeah, he holds out a lot.
Hits it really low. I believe.
I think he's just really good.
So he rolls them in.
Rolls
Gives
them
him
in.
a chance to go in.
Exactly. That's why I've not had a
think-
hole-in-one yet. I always say.
You hit it too pure, Roy.
If you know, it's the powder. The
Hit it
powder
too
puff
far
fades.
right.
Par threes hate powder puff fades.
But
So,
this guy has been on tour to kind of prove himself a little bit more than the other guys. So I understand your point that he does have a better resume up to this point, but the other guys just haven't had the opportunities that he has since he's been on tour for longer.
Yeah, I can understand, but I mean, I don't know how much more you can ask of a player in the first couple of years turning pro, or what. Like he's literally done anything that's been put in front of him. He is like just passed with flying colours, and I just don't think he gets anywhere near enough credit that he should.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You don't hear anything about this guy, and he's number one in the FedEx Cup.
Yeah,
and he's won the Honda. Just one more time.
Yeah. Tough.
He's won the Masters, US Open. They just haven't been talking about it.
Right, Peter Walker, will move on to you for your second pick.
Okay. Firstly, I'd just like to take a minute to appreciate Rory Murphy saying Dubai. And then secondly, Josh Wright saying Gorm Fairy.
Wait, what?
Gorm Fairy Tour.
Dubai.
Dubai. Okay, right. My player of the next decade is Rasmus Højgaard. He's 19 years old from
Let me just get my Wikipedia up.
Denmark. He's 184th in the world at the moment. So I'll talk a little bit about his junior career, quite a successful junior career. Along with his twin brother, Nikolai, they led Denmark to their first World Amateur Team Championship title. He's won the Toyota Junior World Cup in 2018. In the Junior Ryder Cup, he and his brother played against Akshay Bhatia and Michael Bjornson in the foursomes. They halved that match and then played him again in the afternoon in 4 balls and beat him 5-4. So obviously beating a junior world number one, pretty impressive, who's now gone pro as well.
You know, this is player of the decade we're talking about.
Let me get to it.
Oh, you're getting onto it.
Not sure it's had 15 minutes, so let me get so he's in the singles. He beat William Mull 1-up and took 2.5 points from USA in Disneyland Golf. Let's just take a second to appreciate that as well. And in only his second start on the European Tour, he won at the Afrasia Bank Mauritius Open.
Great course, by the way. I've actually played that course. Unbelievable.
And on his route to getting there as well, pretty impressive. So he played a year on the Challenge Tour, and he had 5 top 10s, and second place in his very first start on the Challenge Tour, and came 21st on that year, and then came through qualifying Q School, had 4 sub-70 rounds to finish 5th, and became the first player born in the 2000s to graduate from Q School. Shows how young he is. Pretty scary that someone from 2000s and later is like qualifying for Q School. Like we take the piss out of him for being in crisis, like a club night. I think it's someone little 2000s, and he's winning on the European tour. He's also had a tied 6th in the Man Open. What a great place.
They do say that's a key indicator of later success.
Of future major winners.
Honestly, well. But yeah, he's a very exciting prospect, I think. And I just thought I'd throw someone a little bit different.
I agree with you there, Pete. I've watched him a bit, and his brother as well. His brother
And they've got incredible swing. Like, just wow. He's got such a silky swing as well.
Yeah.
It's where they both absolutely nuke it, don't they?
Yeah, and he had in that Man Open, he shot 66 on the first day to be co-leader. And it's like it's something like his like 8th start.
Yeah.
Pretty obscene.
Has his brother won on the European tour?
I think he has, you know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure one of them.
No,
His brother won before him.
I don't think his brothers won.
Oh yeah,
I could be wrong.
I think.
So I remember watching
only
him win in
just
the
turned pro.
Richards, and they were saying something like his brothers won before him.
I thought his brother was still in college golf.
What's his brother called?
Nikolai.
Nikolai?
So Nikolai and Rasmus Højgaard.
Yeah, great names as well. Like
Wait, guys.
they're going to be the next like dominating. Well, they're going to be the next like big pro twins from the Molinaris.
Good for the Ryder Cup team. These are the guys we need.
Which one's going to be Eduardo and which one's going to be Francesco?
Nikolai will be Eduardo. Because Pete's just told us that
His brother
winning majors. So
his brother is don't think he hasn't won. I don't think.
Back to the think tank.
Back to Wiki.
do you see him going to the States soon, Pete? Think he'll be on the PGA Tour soon?
No, I think he'll stay in the European Tour for a while. Because he's obviously had all his like grown up playing his junior golf in Europe and already obviously having some success here.
Yeah.
Like I think he'll bed himself in for a while. He's only 19, so there's no point making some bold moves over there. He won't have a tour card over there for a while.
Yeah. He could do the Sung Jae and go on the Gorn
Cut his teeth every week.
He's not as good as Sung Jae.
Well,
Not yet.
He won't be as good next decade.
you know, winning your second
Never know.
start on the European Tour is pretty impressive. And
Did he win a second start?
I think he'll go back. I think that's a good shout.
Right.
Yeah.
I think him. I'd love to see him and Martin Keimer coming down the stretch. Really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so obviously I know it's a different tour. It's not quite the strength and depth that the PGA Tour has, but how many was it until like Matt Wolff had his first win? You know, it was what third start or something, or fourth start.
Really soon.
You know, like really soon, and obviously everyone raving about that. And this guy's kind of got brushed over in his like winning the like obviously we're in Europe, so you'd think we'd hear about him more, but
Nobody cares about the European Tour.
Haven't heard about it at all. No, yeah. So pretty under the radar kind of guy. Like still 184 in the world. It's pretty. Obviously.
It sounds bad, but that's pretty incredible for a guy of his age.
Absolutely. So I think he could do something pretty special. 10 years is a long time. Him being 29 by then, he's got plenty of time to become something pretty special. I think.
He could be player for the next 20 years. You never know.
Yeah.
Could be.
We know.
Might have got the wrong decade.
Actually, boys,
For a different podcast.
on the world ranking.
Rory, is that towel folded yet?
Right then, lads. Anybody got any final comments? Players maybe worth mentioning?
No Xander.
No Xander Schauffele.
I thought I would have obviously Martin Keimer. He's almost certainly the player of the next decade. But I would say
I'll throw some stats at you for Xander. I've got some stuff on him. Okay, so world number 12, 26 years old. He lost the WGC Shanghai in a playoff, obviously with Patrick Reed and
for two in a row as well.
Yeah, because he also. So we'll talk about his first rookie season, 2 wins. The Greenbrier, what a great place, and first ever rookie to win the Tour Championship in 2017. Pretty impressive.
Even him's not done that.
No.
Yeah, him as well.
Oh,
So he
not
got
the only
rookie of the year
thing.
that year. He finished tied second at the Masters. Genuinely, just a good performer. That's the one. That's
I think it's
performer
tough.
in majors. But yeah, it's unlucky to have tied 5th for the 2017 US Open. But he's just had close finishes. I think always.
Very similar players.
It's tough to value the Tour Championship though when like 10 people play.
Still got to get into it, which
Actually,
means you've had a good season.
It's typically the best players playing,
Yeah,
like the best at the moment. So
and
if you win that, I think it's pretty.
And when you're like a rookie and you've got like 10 or 20 million on the line, or 5 or 10 million for winning it, that's got to be a bit of pressure.
He's a rookie. It's first ever paycheck. He doesn't care how many zeros are at the end.
I think Justin Thomas actually
contract.
won the. I think Justin Thomas actually won the FedEx Cup because now you can like win the Tour Championship or no, actually they changed it since where they adjust the scores from the starting point. So like if you win the Tour Championship, you will win it all. But that was before.
It's interesting. It's more exciting, but I'm not sure if it's fair.
Yeah.
That's
My closing remark.
You shoot like 20 under and come in like middle of the field.
It seems a bit pointless as well. Like all your work over the season comes down to like a couple of shots in the final tournament.
It's like the Bucks and Tour finals that decides who gets all the points that year. Ridiculous.
So I can't remember who did Dustin Johnson earlier, but I think Justin Thomas is the next Dustin Johnson. I think he'll be like a 1-2 major man. He'll carry he'll carry the flame.
Bite your tongue.
He'll carry the flame for the WGC Mexico for the next 10 years, and we'll be here talking about why he wasn't quite golfer of the decade.
It's disappointing to hear you say that.
I think we're going to be 103.
Right, guys, we'll end it on that. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Hopefully, we'll see you next time.